If you look at what both of us are doing on social media, yes, we're spending more time, but intentionally, we're actually using social media specifically to try to generate way more leads. In the past, we optimized for things like views, and then from views, we're like, oh, how many of them will eventually drive revenue and become a customer? And it was more so like a metric where our sales teams would ask people, how'd you hear about us? But if you look at now, intentionally, you and I have doubled down on social media specifically for generating leads. And a great example of this is with your ABM product, right? What was the first post that you put on LinkedIn that helped you generate a lot of leads?
The gist was LinkedIn doesn't allow you to create personalized, scalable ads until now. And then basically we wrote about some of the features and we said, leave a comment if you're interested. But main thing is it was actually generating leads for the agency as well. Because people that are like, oh, we actually need agency help too. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and what my team's been doing for me is they'll create scripts that I read, and then it tells people to leave a comment through ManyChat, and then you can end up sending the downloadable material, but you collect the lead for them to get access.
How many leads are you collecting from that?
On a monthly basis, it depends how many times we put out a video, but an easier way to look at it is how many qualified leads are we getting per video that we end up releasing.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Okay, so yeah, and the reason I mentioned that is when you look at just a lead count, there's just way too many. Like we get thousands of leads from this a month. But when we look at qualified leads, we're generating around 15 to low 20s in qualified leads.
These are SQLs, right? Because we don't look at MQL. I'm like, guys, let's just stop looking at MQLs. Just look at SQLs because it aligns everybody.
Yeah, you can look at both, right? We do look at both. And we do the reason we like looking at MQLs is it's just easier from a marketing perspective, but we hold them accountable to the percentage of MQLs that need to convert into SQLs, right? So we're measuring the quality. But if we do a good video, 15 to low 20s in qualified leads.
We also, on our end with YouTube, going back to that for a second, and we can broaden it up to broader social, but we do add ads into the videos too. I don't think you're doing that yet, and I don't know if you will. You probably will. But we rotate different ads. So one might be for Carrot, one might be for Single Ray, one might be for the Agency Owners Association, and that actually drives leads for all of them.
Oh, cool. Yeah, we don't do much of that. We just look at everything as a funnel. If I get 10 qualified leads from social media, roughly 40% of them are going to end up jumping on the phone, and then we're going to end up getting a hold of them. Another 1 to 2 will get on the phone from just dialing. Right? The people who didn't schedule, some of those people aren't interested. Some of them we can eventually get on the phone.
40% plus?
Plus, yeah. So
you're going
to be 50 to 60 in total
with dialing,
including dial-in, okay?
Yeah.
And out of those, we're going to end up pitching around 30%. And out of the ones we pitch, we usually can close 1 out of 3.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys, by the way, your sales team, you have your VP. Do you have a sales ops person that's managing all of this? Are they all expected to just have their CRM hygiene super clean?
No, we have sales operation people.
Yeah, just focused on that. And that I think that's important for people to know too. Like sometimes, in general, I've seen with salespeople, there's some that are just really organized, but a lot are just not. And you have to make sure you have a sales ops person to keep the data clean.
Yes. The other reason we need sales ops is not all of our leads are for that person. So someone may come into our UK office, and that was a great example. We actually had someone literally come into the UK office. It was a company based out of, I don't know exactly where they were in Europe, but for some reason they hit up our UK office, hoping that they can help them with Latin America. Record was clean. They did an introduction. They did a few calls. They passed it over to our head of LATAM. He then had all this previous information about the lead. He ended up closing him for, call it a $600,000 account. I'm pretty sure it was
that
around
came from
600.
social.
Not from social. But that was just going back to having really good sales operations. Because for us is, if a lead is messy and all the history isn't there, it makes it really messy when someone has to end up taking over the lead, because not all of our leads start with one person and end with that person. Because sometimes someone's just like, yeah, they may be in the US. Like a great example is Nick got a lead from one of the biggest shipping companies in the world. All right. They want help in APAC. Nick's not the person to pitch him on APAC, but because that company is here, he did an initial call, talked to them, got to know them, figured out what their goals, objectives are, and they came down to towards the end, it came down to, we should actually just start with APAC and then go from there based on your budget and what you're looking to tackle over the next 6 months to a year. So then we had to pass it all over.
Right. To close the loop here, I would say for LinkedIn, the experiment we're running right now is we're posting 3 times a day. I actually paused that this week and I spent a little more time on each post. So usually it's going to be my team writing the 3 posts, right? But I'm like, hey, I'm going to spend like 20 minutes on each one and see how it goes. And we only posted 1 per day. Same reach, right? So we're like, okay, let's not involve me as much and just take my process, follow that. Here's a Loom video, and then just go run with it. So we're just going to jack that up more. Same thing with X as well.
I just started today for the first time posting on Instagram and a lot of the social networks, not all of them, but quite a few of them 3 times a day. And I have no idea how it's going to turn out, but time will tell. And yeah, one of them's just been live for 20 minutes. And the whole purpose of this is if you can do well with twice a day and you can get similar types of views and you can start reaching more audience, because a lot of these social platforms will tell you how many non-followers you reach. And that's the real metric that we really look for with all of our videos. How many non-followers are we getting to on a monthly basis? Because that's the real metric. Like if your followers keep hearing from you, great. You need new followers in the funnel to eventually start closing more deals, 6 months or a year later.
There's a little Instagram hack where if you take your top performing reels from the past and you set it to the preview where it's only like a test post, right? It actually reaches new audiences. And that's all you do. You just keep taking your top post and then just keep setting it to the Instagram test post.
LinkedIn ads are great, but let me give you the bad news first. The bad news is that you can't personalize the ads and you can't scale out the ads as quickly. The good news is if you're in the B2B space, you're doing account-based marketing, we have a solution for you called 𝗓𝗏𝗢𝗏. That's K-A-R-R-O-T. And the good news is that you can create a lot of these campaigns with the click of a button. You can personalize the ads, and there's a whole host of new things that are coming. If you want to get on the wait list, just go to 𝗓𝗏𝗢𝗏. Again, it's 𝗓𝗏𝗢𝗏, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yeah, Instagram has test reels.
Yeah, so test reels, but just take all your old reels that perform well, put it into test reels, and it'll expand the audience.
Yeah, well, test reels shows everyone who's not your follower that video. Yeah, they won't show your current followers. But then if it goes well, you actually have the option to enable it where all your existing followers can see it as well.
Yeah, and I look at it as, honestly, with social, it's okay to repost your bangers because a lot of people forget. So, yeah.
They do, and we repost our bangers, call it 3 to 6 months later. They usually never do as well as the original one, but they still do well.
So that's what it is, guys. If you guys have any other questions, let us know. And that being said, we'll see you tomorrow.